Hello there. Welcome back and happy 2026. I know I haven't posted a video in a while, but I guess I got kind of caught up in the end of year activities and holidays and things like that. And I'll be honest, I lost a little bit of motivation, but I am a big new year, new start type of person. And I definitely get a new burst of like motivation and energy going into the new year. So I am ready to get going again. And I thought the perfect topic for today would be to go over my 2026 wellness plan. This is kind of a loosely based plan, but basically just some things to keep me organized in terms of my like wellness goals for 2026. So I am using Milanote. That is this platform. I've talked about it before on my channel, but basically it's just a way to organize information, which you will see throughout this video. I basically just put a little bit of a summary here of what I want to track to in 2026. So I had been doing really well. I would say like maybe the second half or most like maybe like February through September of 2025. I was really good about sticking to all of my plans and goals and things like that. But with my birthday and the holidays and things like that, things got a little askew. And so I'm kind of building off of what I had already established for 2025 and making some small tweaks into 2026 to make sure I really can achieve my goals. And I guess at a high level, I don't really have very specific like weight goals I want to get to or anything like that. It's really at the end of the day that I just want to feel comfortable in my body and increase my confidence, like grow my confidence. And so that is kind of what I'm working towards. It's really just, do I feel good about myself? There's no like, oh, I hit this weight or this body, muscle percentage or anything like that, like that I'm good to go. It's just, how do I feel in my clothes and on a day-to-day basis? So with that being said, here's my little summary. So I do focus a lot on macros and calories that, I guess calories kind of gets counted into macros. That has been the most successful thing for me in terms of just making sure that I'm eating well and working towards my goals. And so I, rather than saying I want to stick to a specific calorie goal per day, I want to focus on the delta. So typically 250 to 350 calorie delta per day, I think would let me probably lose a pound every 2 weeks in general. On average, I suppose it's highly dependent on the week and all sorts of other factors, but I think that's probably pretty achievable. And I've also realized like I'm not the type of person who can do a drastic calorie delta. I am hungry all the time. I like to eat, and it's just not sustainable for me to say like, oh, I'm gonna cut my calories by 750 calories a day. Like it's just absolutely not going to happen. So 250 to 350 is something that I can do and I have done. So I feel pretty good about that. So for daily macros, I did need to pick a calorie goal just to capture kind of general macros, but again, this can change. So some days I'll definitely eat more than 1,800 calories per day. Some days maybe a little bit less, but it's just kind of an average to stick to so that I can make sure I'm kind of generally know what macros to work towards. And then the macros I'm going to track in 2026, and I track everything through an app, but these are the ones I really want to focus on meeting every day are protein, fat, and fiber. And I saw a series of YouTube shorts on this breakdown of macros from some nutritionist or dietitian, I'm not sure, I don't remember who it was, about a year ago. And she talked about her 90 or 30, 30, 50, 90 method. Where she recommended a minimum of 30 grams of fiber, a minimum of 50 grams of fat, and a minimum of 90 grams of protein per day to kind of maintain your health and meet your goals. And so that's kind of what I've been doing in most of 2025. And again, I found it to be successful. So I'm going to try and stick with that. I will say historically, I'm almost always good about meeting my protein. I can usually make that happen. Not always the best types of protein, but whatever, it's close enough. I can definitely make my fiber goals. I think sometimes I eat too much fiber. Depends if I'm eating a lot of like protein bars and things like that that will have supplements of fiber in them, then I think I go too far the other direction. But in general, I can meet my fiber goals. Fat is where I really struggle because I'm usually well over the 50 grams. And I know that the guidance was to do a minimum of 50, so I don't know what's like the maximum, like when you've gone too much, but I know I go way over on fat, so I need to be a lot better about making sure that I'm maintaining a normal balance of fat and not like overeating in that area. So these are my macros that I work towards, and I'll do another video, but I use Chronometer, which is an app on my iPhone, and I absolutely love it. It has been really crucial to my success with my like nutrition and wellness the past year, and so I'm definitely going to continue doing that, but I'll do another more in-depth video of it. It's just nice because it calculates everything for you, like every single nutrient, every vitamin, all the different things, so you can look at as much or as little as you want. Of course, it's dependent on what you put in. So what you put in, like what's the saying, garbage in equals garbage out. Like you have to put in good data for it to actually give you good data back, but nevertheless, it is very helpful. And then down here, this is my weight goal. So again, this is kind of just a general plan to make sure that I am progressing throughout the year, and to get like a general sense of, am I working towards what I want to work towards? But these are just kind of like basic, like general numbers. It's not like, oh, I need to get to 120 pounds by September 1st, or everything is, for naught, and this was just a wasted year. Like this is just a goal to make sure that I'm kind of getting towards where I want to get to. And at this point, I'm not, I don't have a lot of weight to lose. I would like to lose some, in particular around my belly. Like I've definitely got that belly fat. And so that's probably because I have so much fat all the time, but it's really going to be a combination of losing fat, but then also gaining muscle. I think that should be a realistic, or like achievable goal to lose roughly 12 pounds. But again, with gaining muscle, I don't know if I'm going to need to go down to 120, because maybe I will like kind of feel really confident in my body at 125 because I've gained more muscle and lost more fat. So again, just a rough guide here, but it's mostly just to give me something to kind of like work towards. So this is my summary, and I might tweak it throughout the year if something changes. Maybe I decide I need more protein or whatever it might be. But this is just a starting place. Okay, so starting up here with my 2026 tracker. So this is kind of just general wellness information, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to use this because it's pretty specific. This I might actually move to like 2027, because I think this is more of like a, once I've met my goal, like kind of just tweaking things and making sure that I'm like making small adjustments at that point. So for example, if I were to do my measurements of like how big my waist is and my glutes and things like that, like I think it's more of like once I get to kind of a good starting place, then I can really work on those tweaks. But I think for 2026, I'm going to think more high level and just like getting to that baseline that I want to start at, and then working through these tweaks after. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'll use this. This might just be kind of ready to go for next year. And then I thought I could do fun things like, what do I want to focus on this week? Are there things I want to buy? Like, I don't know, fitness goal, like new set of weights, I don't know, things like that. These are carryovers actually from something else I was doing, so I probably won't use these this year. And then again, if I had specific like fitness, this is intended to be more fitness, like fitness goals or like body composition goals, I can put those here. And then I thought it would be fun to do just like a little like motivational quote and maybe change that out every week or every month, something like that. So again, I don't know if I'll use this for 2026. It's here in case I do get motivation. Maybe it'll be like a second half of the year type of thing, but we'll see. The two things that I will use most are my meal plan and my fitness plan. So first up is my meal plan, and these are really templates, so I can copy and paste, particularly the meal plan, into my main board every week. And I know it looks like a lot of information, but it's not too bad. So starting over here, I've got my meal options. So I'm actually going to shift things this year where I'm going to start doing my meal plan on Friday and then grocery shopping Saturday morning, because I've done that the past couple weeks and it's been so lovely. Like nobody there at 7:30 in the morning, very quiet. Everything's kind of clean. So like I have a little bit of I'm a bit of a germaphobe. And so when I do the self-checkout and I have to like weigh my apples, for example, or my, whatever fruit that I'm buying, and you have to put them on the scale. If you go like Thursday at 7 p.m., which is what I've been doing for the past couple of years, it's got a whole day's worth of like who crud and who knows what on that scale. But 7:30 on Saturday morning, it's like cleaned and I feel more comfortable about it. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. So on Friday, I would basically just fill out these first couple of columns here. And so I would just put down my ideas. So like a couple of breakfast options, lunch, dinner, a couple of snacks if I want to. Sometimes I'll just do one. And then if I feel like having a dessert, I can put that here. Usually I don't meal plan a dessert because I don't really want to focus on dessert that much. But if I have like, I don't know, maybe it's Valentine's Day week and I want to do something fun, I might put that here just so that I'm ensuring that I'm buying all the things that I need. Um, and then now I just realized I don't have my grocery list. I'm going to go grab that real quick. Okay, I'm back and I've got my groceries list. So basically, I would just put my options here. I have been leaning more towards 2 options for each of the main meals instead of 3, simply because it's less stuff for me to cook and I can use my ingredients more. So if I'm doing 3 lunches and 3 dinners every week, that's a lot of food for me to get through before it goes bad. And I don't want to waste food. And I also am trying to be really conscious of my financial choices and my budgeting in 2026. And so I think doing 2 meal types per meal is going to be sufficient. But if I really need to do 3 or who knows, I can put 3 ideas in here. So I would just put something like Greek yogurt bowl. And it doesn't need to be specific. It can be vague. But if I do have specific things that I want to make sure I don't forget, I will write it down. So I might say I might say burrito bowl with guac, beans, lettuce, whatever. So I can get specific like that. And then that makes it easier for me to put my grocery list together if I remembered or had a specific list of things I wanted to put in that particular meal. So first up, I put my options down. What I am going to start, I've done this the last 2 weeks and I actually kind of like it, is putting my macros down. So really just making sure that I'm getting the main components in every single meal. And so it's kind of like they're not numbered or anything like that. I might end up changing that, but basically I can just check and I know the order, like this is just the first one is this is the second thing, this is the third thing. But basically I would just go through and make sure that I have a protein, a fat, a fiber, and a carb in every single meal or snack if possible. Not everything has to have all those things. It's just ideal to make sure that I'm getting a well-balanced meal or snack. So for example, with this one, I would say burrito bowl, I'd say, okay, we've got beans, and then maybe I'd say tempeh, cheese, and rice. I don't know. So I would say, okay, I've got beans, cheese, and tempeh all have protein. So I'd check off protein. Guac is a healthy fat. So I would say, got that. Beans and lettuce both have fiber, and then my carb would be rice. So again, just making sure that it's well balanced and I have everything accounted for, so that I don't have like a kind of crummy meal at the end of the day. Okay, so that's what I would do that. I'm just going to clear these out again to get back to my template state. Okay, so once I've vetted my options and my macros, and I guess I should say, if I was going through the macros and I realized I had forgotten a protein, for example, in my burrito bowl, I would add that in before I call my options complete. So once those are complete, I would go down to my groceries list. I keep this exact same every single week. It's how I go through the store. So first produce into the dairy and like vegetarian section, which is like tofu and tempeh and stuff like that. Pantries kind of just everywhere. And then I end with frozen. So basically I would just go through whatever meals I had identified up here and add to my grocery list what I need that I don't already have at home. Pretty self-explanatory. I will also add things in here like if I need a birthday card or like I needed sanitizer wipes, so kind of one-off things like that I'll usually put in the pantry section. If I, again, like going back to my Valentine's Day example, if I wanted to do a special Valentine's Day dessert, I would put those things in here as well, even if I hadn't put the meal here. So I kind of just collect things in my grocery list throughout the week if I think of something, and then I'll also add in anything I need for my meals. So again, very self-explanatory. And then the last step, what I would do here is meals and recipes. So I like to plot out my meals just one, to make sure that I have enough food and enough ideas to get me through the 7 days of the week, but also to plot in extra things like if I had like a work happy hour or a dinner out with a friend or I don't know, some other thing that meant I wasn't going to be cooking or eating a regular meal that day, I would plot that in. So maybe like this Friday I had a dinner. I would put that dinner in here. Like maybe we're going to some kind of restaurant and then I know I only need 6 dinners instead of 7. And then I also like to just make sure I'm balancing things out. So for example, this week, I made a chia pudding for lunches, for my lunches at work. And then I also have chia pudding that I made just as a random breakfast. So I wouldn't want to have chia pudding on a breakfast and a lunch for one day. So in that case, I would say, okay, like Monday and Wednesday, I'm going to be in the office, so those will be lunch chia puddings, and then on Tuesday, I'll do breakfast chia pudding. So that's how I use these, just to plot out and make sure everything kind of balances well, I have enough food, and I'm accounting for any one-off meals and events. And then last step over here, I've got my recipes. So if there's a recipe, I don't cook a lot off of recipes. It depends. A lot of times I just put random things together, like I said, a burrito bowl or Greek yogurt bowl that don't really require like cooking per se. So I wouldn't need a recipe. Sometimes I'll just list out a bunch of ingredients. So for example, this week, actually earlier today, I made a Greek yogurt cookie dough. And so I just listed out the ingredients that I was going to put in there. I didn't have quantities or anything like that. It was just ingredients. So I could do that. I could put a link to a recipe. If I actually did have a recipe, I could put a picture, like a screenshot of a recipe. Anything like that can go here just so that I have everything I need for that week when I go to actually cook those meals or make those meals. And then down here, I have this as extra. I don't know if I'll end up using it, but I really would like to get into this practice where I'm documenting foods that I like so I don't forget about them, because I am the kind of person who will make something and then completely forget about it. And then I'm like, oh, I have no ideas for what to make this week. And it's like, I wish I'd remembered that I really liked that smoothie bowl or that vanilla chia pudding or whatever. So these are just a couple of examples of how I can document, like, did I like something and any kind of notes about it. And then over here, I would love to keep a better inventory. I used to be really good about this. I've kind of fallen off over the last couple years, but for example, I actually did use up this frozen pizza not too long ago. So I would check that off and just say, okay, I've got peanut butter. That's kind of always a staple. I've got a bunch of boxes of Goodles I can use. So these are things I can keep in mind as I'm putting together my meal plan, because I love to use things up. It is my greatest joy in life to be able to use things up. And also just makes it a little bit more affordable to do grocery shopping every week if I can use up my pantry staples. So again, this is something I would really like to get into good practice for, but I need to kind of remind myself to do it. Okay, so that is it for meal plan. Nothing too revolutionary there, but organized and kind of keeps me on track of things. Okay, and then last up is my fitness plan. So this I probably won't use as a template per se. I can just kind of update as I go. But this is just a way to keep my workouts, kind of like a history of my workouts. So I tend to do kind of like DIY circuits. That's like my favorite type of workout, basically, because I don't really do like, I don't do classes. I don't like going to group classes or anything like that. I don't have a one-on-one trainer. I don't go to the gym. I don't follow apps and protocols like that. I just make up my workouts on my own. And so this is the format that I like to use. So up here, I've just got my kind of plan for what I would do every day. So the X's mean like I'm going to do it that day. So Sunday and Saturday, Sunday are cardio. Monday is my rest day. And then I would do upper body, lower body, core. And then Wednesday's kind of open right now because it's really going to be dependent on how I feel when I get home from work. It might become another rest day. Maybe I'll do a bit of walking. It's kind of TBD. So I don't really have a specific plan, but this just keeps me in mind of what my rotation is every week. And then just a little reminder here, I do use Grow with Joe on YouTube if I feel like I need a little like different cardio or strength-based workout that's not something I have to make up. I'll do one of her videos. I really enjoy her workouts. Okay, so down here I've got just kind of a couple of examples of some circuits. This one I just did the other day actually, and it's obviously, as you can see here, all cardio. So I just picked a couple of different cardio movements and come up with my quantity I want to do and number of rounds, and this is how I track it. So after I did round one of jumping jacks, I would put an X here, XYZ, like you can kind of see what I mean, and it just keeps me on track. If I was doing a lot of rounds, sometimes I kind of forget where I am, and it's just nice to see your progress. And then this one was more of a well-balanced thing. So you can say did cardio, lower upper body, and core. So just a little bit of everything, full body workout. And, I guess I kind of started tracking that. So this is just little sections where I can create a circuit for my workout. And then down here is my inspiration of different movements that can fit into these circuits. So core, lower body, upper body, and cardio. These are just some ideas. I can do a plank, I can do jump rope, I can do arm prayers, different things like that. And then I just recently started saving some ideas from YouTube shorts because I'll see people do movements and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Like I didn't think that was a move you could do, or I forgot about that move. And so as I'm putting together my circuits, I can use all these things. And the reason I have these in particular is because it's hard for me to explain sometimes, like I might see a move that I have saved here in this link and I try to like explain what it is here, but I can't remember it. And so having the visual is very helpful. So yeah, that is how I would create those. And then I've got my details section here where I can, if I want, do a little journal entry. Again, I don't know if I'll do this, but it's here if I feel inspired, where basically I can just name my circuits, I can save them. So if I'm like, oh, I loved circuit number 7, I can do circuit number 7 again. Or if I'm like, oh, this one hurt my knees, I don't want to do that again, I don't need to. So just kind of a fun thing to keep track of. Sometimes I feel like keeping track of all the data and sometimes I don't. So again, it's just an option for when I want to do it. And then this is just my little thing that I actually had my sister create for me of reminders of how to kind of keep moving all day long, because I will say that is definitely my number one tip for success. And I've had so much growth out of this, I'd say in the last probably decade, where I find that moving all day long really helps me stay like healthy, fit, and like helps me sleep better at night because I've exerted more energy throughout the day. So I really like to just be on the move. And if I'm sitting for more than 20, 30 minutes, I need to get up and do something. If it's just walking around the house or taking care of a task, or I don't know, just doing something so I'm not just like a lump on a log all day. And anyway, I find that to be really helpful. So yeah, that is my fitness plan. Again, I will probably come in here and so like, for example, like say maybe it's Tuesday this week, I know I need to do an upper body workout. I will just kind of peruse here and come up with some ideas, create my little circuit, and then I can track it and then I can move it into my archive here. So you can see I can just like put it here. That's circuit number 1. I can always refer back to it when I want to. So yeah, that is what I have for my wellness plan. Like I said, I will do another video on how I track my macros. I use a couple different tools for that, and have a couple tips that might be helpful. So I will happily share that with you guys. I will maybe do like a half year or maybe even a quarterly check-in just to see how things are going with my wellness plan, to see if I've been sticking to plan, if I've had the results that I was hoping for, if I need to make any tweaks, things like that. But yeah, let me know if you find this interesting, and I'm happy to do more content along this line. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful 2026, and I will see you soon. Bye.